Chef Freddy here from Fantasy Springs with my tip of the week. Today, we're going to make a cornbread and oyster stuffing. Now, some stuffing recipes call for raw celery and onion. I like to pre-cook mine. I like to saute a little bit. With this recipe, I took a little over a cup of celery and a cup of chopped onions and sauteed that with about a tablespoon of garlic. Now, take your onions and celery, put that aside, let that cool down until it's time to fold in with the rest of the ingredients. This recipe calls for shucking your own oysters. There are some places you can buy pre-shucked oysters. They're not quite as good. Nothing's better than freshly shucked, so I'm going to show you how to do it. If you do it, be careful, take your time. You want to place the oyster, believe it or not, there's a top, there's a bottom, there's a back and a front. You want the top up, which is right here, and you want to find that little notch right there. Carefully hold it steady with a rag, get the tip of your oyster knife in, and there you go. It'll pop. Okay? Make sure there's no shell fragments. Separate the bottom. So I took about a dozen Blue Point oysters right from the Long Island Sound and pre-shucked them. Get a nice big bowl. To that, we're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 cups of crumbled cornbread and about 6 cups of toasted cubed baguettes. We're going to add a little salt and pepper. You need the equivalent of about 2 teaspoons of salt and about 3/4 a teaspoon of ground black pepper, 3/4 a teaspoon of sage, dried sage. Toss that all together. Now is when we can add our onions and celery that we sauteed in advance with a little bit of garlic. Now toss that all together. You want to add about 6 ounces of melted butter, 6 beaten eggs, a cup and 1/4 of heavy cream. Lastly, we're going to add in those oysters. You don't have to chop them up or anything, just throw them in there. Okay, now fold that all together really nice. Now, prior to folding all this together, I took a nice baking dish and pre-buttered it with some softened, unsalted butter. In she goes. I just want to take a little drizzle. I mean, not a lot at all. There's already butter in there, but this will make sure that the top gets golden brown without getting too dark. Preheated the oven to 400 degrees. Pop it in, 45 minutes to an hour max, she's done. And there you have it, cornbread oyster stuffing. I'm Chef Freddy from Fantasy Springs, and I'll see you next time. Forget about it.